Hi guys, welcome back to day 16 of our holiday card series this year. So for today I thought we would do a cute little like fern tree branch and a little Christmas ornament hanging off of it. So I've just got a couple of lines here drawn out in our little ornament. So I'm going to start with just wetting our ornament with some clear water, clean water, as normal, and then we'll just drop in our colors. So since our tree is going to be green, a nice green fir tree branch, I thought it'd be nice if we did like a nice bright orangey red ornament. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Feel free to do whatever you want. We're almost towards the end of our card series. I think we have 2 more left before Christmas. So these were posted on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays up until Christmas. So if you missed any of the other cards, feel free to go back and watch those. But I'm kind of excited and sad at the same time that we only have 3 left. So if you guys like this and you want to see me do this again next year, hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know down in the comments. Okay, so that's pretty nice and saturated, and I'm just trying to get up as close to the edges as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect, because once we get our colors in there, we can adjust the edges, right? And like I love to say in watercolor, nothing has to be perfect. It's watercolor. It kind of does what it wants. Okay. So now I'm going to go in with my cadmium red hue, I think, because I want a really nice bright, cadmium red hue, and I might just throw in just a hint of our cadmium red deep hue, but I want most of it to be that orangey red. Okay, and we're just going to throw this all in. Okay. And I want most of the paint towards the edge. But I also want it to flow to the center too. Okay, so now that we've got that on there, I'm going to go in with my alizarin crimson red. And this is going to be not quite as watery as the mixture before. And we're just going to throw this in along our edges. Just to get a little bit of contrast in there and for some shadow, to make the object look 3D. And while the paper's still wet, it's going to flow a little bit. And then now here's our opportunity to really clean up those edges if you want. Okay, so I think I like that. Now I'm going to rinse all the paint out of my brush, and I just have a cloth here. I'm just going to dab off most of the excess paint, and I want to make sure that the paint doesn't flow too much into our little highlight area. So I'm just going to coax some of that paint away from it, just to make sure that we keep that there. And because we're dabbing off the water from our brush, we're not putting more water on the paper. We're not going to cause any blooms. It's going to be okay. If I was to go in with a wet brush and try to do that, then the water is going to spread and bloom everywhere. And if you like that look and that's what you want, that's absolutely okay. All right, so we're going to leave our little Christmas bulb for now. And I'm going to turn this over so I can do our little tree branch here. And I'm going to mix up, just going to get a little bit of water here, and I'm going to mix up some Hooker's Green. This Hooker's Green Deep. And I'm just going to add a little bit of Van Dyke Brown to that. Just to make it like a dark greeny brown. You want it to be brown, but just with like a hint of green in there. Okay. And we're just going to go over this little branch here. Now this is kind of the same method that we did in our little holly wreath. So if you guys didn't see that card, go back and watch that because it's pretty much the same that we're going to be doing here, except we did it in a nice circle and a nice little wreath. So I would encourage you guys to go watch that video. And then you get lots of practice doing the little spiky things that we're going to do in here for our little, the things that come off. Are they the ferns, the little ferns? Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, this branch, and then we'll come back and add our little green ferns to it. Okay, so now that our little branch is dry, we're going to go in with our green mixture, and I'm just going to get some Hooker's Green Deep, and I'm going to mix this up, and I'm going to mix a fair amount of it because we have a little bit to do. So our Hooker's Green Deep. We can always go back in and make more if we need to. And I'm going to get a little bit of sap green too. Just to make like a nice traditional green. Okay. There. So we want it to run, but we don't want it to be too runny that it's just piling up on our card. And all we're going to do for this is we're going to start and we're going to do little flicks out away from the branch. And we're going to try to curve them too. So it's just flick, 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 flick. Maybe a little too water. And it's going to look weird at first, but as we do it, it's going to come together. Okay, so a little bit more. And I'm just going to start turning the card as I'm doing this. And you can always practice on a piece of paper before you start doing this on your card. I'm just going to take this one all the way. Okay. And I'm gonna flick this way. And I apologize if you can hear the dogs barking. And I'm just making them a little bit bigger towards the end of it. Okay. And then we'll do this one. And I'm just gonna do some at the end. Okay, so it's starting to look like a little tree branch. Now what I'm gonna do is just go in with a little bit of a deeper mix. So I'm just gonna get some Hooker's green, and I might put just a smidgen of that Van Dyke brown in there. And now I'm just going to go back in and do the exact same thing. Make sure there's not too much water on my brush. And I'm just going to do the same thing, and this is just going to add a little bit more variety because it's a little bit darker. And if you used a little bit more water than I did, because this is pretty much dry now, if you did use a little bit more water, just wait for it to dry and then you can go back in and do this layer. So these ones I'm going to try to make a little bit smaller. Just making our branch start to look a little thicker, a little fuller. And if you make a boo-boo, that's okay. Just lift it up. That was just a little bit too thick of a little thing, so there we go. And sometimes it takes a minute to start getting that flicky motion. Just going to add a little bit of water. Mix up just a little bit more here. And you can do as many layers as you want. It doesn't have to be just these 2 layers. This is probably what I'm gonna do. But if you wanna go in and do more, that's totally up to you. Alright, and our last little stick here. Now if you're having trouble with this motion, don't do it as quickly as I am. Do it nice and slow. You know, you can still make nice little flicks while you're doing it nice and slow too. Okay, so I kind of like how that is. And you can kind of go in, and if you want to add anything, you can certainly do that. I might just add, you know, some nice thin ones towards the top. Whatever you feel. Okay. And the more you do it, the more layers you do, just gonna make that branch look a little bit thicker. So I think I like that. Okay, so now we're gonna go in and we're gonna do our little ornament attachment thing here, and then we'll do the little string. So I'm just gonna go in with that lamp black. Just gonna make it black, make it nice and simple. You can make it whatever color you want. There. And then I'm just going to make the string go up into our tree. And I'm going to make it like it's knotted on there. Okay. There. So that's our quick and easy little fern tree with our ornament. I hope you guys enjoyed that this card today. And if you did, please subscribe and hit the like button and come back for the next card. Thanks for watching.